Just a quick message before the episode gets underway. I want to let you know that there is an opportunity to sponsor the RG10 podcast. More about this at the end of the episode, so keep listening. Welcome to the RG10 podcast, brought to you by the people behind RG10 magazine. The aim is to bring you interviews, information and entertainment. In fact, anything interesting that's relevant to living around here.
Way, Delilah. It's not unusual. To be loved.
I don't know if you can hear that slight rumbling in the background, but I think it could be the sound of Sir Tom Jones doing his vocal warm-ups. Why? Well, this week the Henley Festival is taking place, and he is the main attraction for what is the festival's 40th anniversary. Other performers include The Script, Craig David, Pete Tong and Katherine Jenkins, plus a host of top-name comedians. All this and the festival's unique black tie dress code. Of course, COVID restrictions in 2020 and 21 brought huge challenges for the events industry, and Henley Festival wasn't left unscathed. I've been speaking to CEO Jo Bausor and began by asking her what the last 2 years have been like.
I think they're fairly indescribable, actually. Obviously, it was a time of huge worry and concern because we're a charity, we're not for profit, and we rely on putting the event on for our income for the year. So it was a really difficult time, as it was for the whole arts sector and the event sector. We managed to struggle through and somehow put on an event last year, which was a massive challenge, but it was completely joyful and uplifting because we did manage to do it and everybody was very happy. But it's been a worrying time, but through the generosity of our many supporters and our loyal audience that have stuck with us, we're here to fight another festival.
How are you coping? How does it compare to maybe last year? Do things feel perhaps a little bit easier, I hesitate to say?
It's difficult in a different sort of way. I mean, obviously we don't have the sort of the threat of lockdowns and restrictions hanging over our head at the moment, but there are a lot of supply issues. There's a lot of staffing issues because obviously lots of people left the hospitality industry and the production industry during the pandemic because of course there wasn't the work and they haven't returned. So, there's been a lot of challenges in those respects. However, we are able to put on, if you could see me, you could see my fingers doing the inverted commas normal festival. So, we're sort of, it's each day at a time, each challenge at a time, yeah.
And as per usual, a terrific lineup here at the festival. I'll just mention a few. You've got The Script, Craig David, and of course Tom Jones, Katherine Jenkins as well with Jack Savoretti on the Sunday.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Your former artistic director Stuart Collins has moved on. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with an awful lot of that side of things as well now. How hard is that? What kind of hurdles do you have to jump to get all that kind of thing sorted out?
I think actually the floating stage acts are the easiest in a way because it's almost quite a simple binary yes or no. Yeah. You can't afford it, or we can't do the date. It's actually getting the mix of the programming across the week that's challenging because obviously we have a really big age group that come to Henley. We have it's literally from 18 to 80, and often whole families come together, which is really lovely. And there's lots of other stuff apart from the floating stage, but the floating stage is the heart of the festival. So it was important for us to get that balance over the 5 nights, especially because it's our 40th anniversary. We wanted to sort of pull something out of the bag. And I think this year we've just about managed to get something for everybody, I think.
Now, tell me about Rise, something that you're doing this year that I know you're particularly proud of. Tell me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was launched, for our 40th anniversary. And historically, we have supported outside charities, but we felt that this year it was something that we wanted to do as Henley Festival. And we would, especially from the pandemic, there was, as I've touched on before, there was no jobs, there was no opportunities. And of course, there's still talented people out there that need an outlet, and opportunities are so few and far between that we've started a programme called Rise. And our strapline is supporting talent, emerging talent in front and behind the spotlight, which is all rather grand, but what it actually means is as we're a music and arts festival, that's what we should be supporting. So, but not just putting musicians on the stage and artists in the gallery, which we are doing. We've got lots of unsigned talent, which we've given a platform to, which is fantastic. We've got visual artists that we've given gallery space to, but it's also about the people behind the scenes that make all those people look great. And you need really talented people coming into the industry, young people. And the opportunities, it's so difficult to get any form of work experience, etc. So we've started work experience programmes for sound engineers, lighting, only small this year, just 1 or 2 in each discipline. But it's a really brilliant opportunity for them to work, because we do work with the best companies in the world for both of those disciplines. So for young people to get that opportunity is great, and we're going sort of out of the area, out of the immediate Henley area, to try and expand those opportunities into perhaps places that wouldn't normally get that opportunity.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I'm trying to put this politely, but one senses people in this area might have more opportunities to do that kind of thing than elsewhere.
Of course they do, and I mean, I think that Henley's a very lovely place to live, and I think we're all very privileged. And yes, it is probably easier, and it's for me, there's talent everywhere, in every corner of the world, the UK and the world. So therefore, we need to just try and push our opportunities out to those people that wouldn't necessarily get the opportunity.
Is this something you might be hoping to do every year?
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. I mean, my aspiration is that we'll be able to support people financially, both, perhaps, I don't know, equipment for artists, equipment for musicians, perhaps bursaries to put people through college for sound, for lighting, etc., etc. I mean, those are my, that's a little bit further down the line, but that's what I'd like to do, and sort of leave that programme behind as the legacy of the 40th anniversary that just keeps on going.
I'd like now to talk about the artists themselves, and I don't want you to mention any names here, but we know that sometimes artists have maybe strange requests, because you want to make absolutely sure they're right up for it on the night and they're performing at their absolute peak. Have you ever had any strange things that artists have asked for?
Well, slightly odd. I mean, one artist in particular requested a soup made out of the white parts of vegetables, which none of us could really understand why, but we fulfilled that request. There's often another artist, very well-known artist, so just to make sure that we got the flowers right in the dressing room, they just took pictures and sent us a picture and just said it needs to be like that, and the height of the plants in the room. So that was, and they didn't like the colour of the sofas.
Back to IKEA.
We had to deal with that. I mean, obviously, we, as far as we can, we try and fulfil the request. But sometimes we are a charity, so actually we do say no. To the one that wanted 12 dozen red roses in her dressing room, we did point out we were a charity, and a bouquet would surely suffice. She took it home with her. Let's put it that way.
That was Henley Festival's CEO, Joe Bausor. Thanks so much for listening to the RG10 podcast. We're now into Series 6 of the show. We've been going over 2 years. We're nearing half a century of episodes, and I'd love to give a massive thanks to our loyal local listeners. And it's because our listeners are so loyal and so local that makes us such an attractive proposition for sponsors. So if you're interested in sponsoring an episode or even the whole show, then we'd love to hear from you. Finally, if you've got any thoughts about who or what we can include in future episodes, then please do let us know via the rg10mag.com website or on any of our various social media channels. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.